Combustion.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Been running the game with my team making plays. Talking 80, my G's, 100 jewels in this place. Surrounded by dogs, keep the quarterback safe. I'm the one with the plans, they gon' do what I say. The game is not over, we don't celebrate in the end zone. We don't got no time in the wait. H-time run down, we don't meditate. We just go and get to it, we got them on skates. If the game going to overtime, kicking the overdrive, we gon' be first at the finish line. Play looking full, but I finish mine, can I get second? We gon' line up like it's dinner time. We put in work till we get us a ring. Super Bowl season, we running the scene. H-time the home of the realest that breathe. Keep your face down when you talk to the king. What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the H-Town Rundown. This is your boy AD, and I got my co-host in the building. We got Mike G, Auntie Swan. We got Jules in the building as well. And we are joined by the great three, the Texans on 3 podcast. We got Frank Nitty in the building. We got Patty,
yes, sir.
Mailman, and of course we got Killer Cal in the building. How's everybody's Tuesday doing?
Doing well. How you fellas are doing?
Man, doing
blessed to be here, man. Blessed to be here.
Popping up on some of this good Texans news.
Hey, yeah, we all blessed to be here. You know, if we'd be even more blessed if we didn't have Jalen Green, but that's another day for another topic. Another day. But here we go, man. Houston Texans had a draft on this weekend.
Really?
They picked 9 players, nine of them for the third year in a row, right?
Oh.
Third year in a row, they picked 9 players in the NFL draft. And it was offense heavy. 6 out of 9 was offense.
Love it.
You know, so
Had to be.
Yeah, they had to do a total reconstruction of the offense, which is what we've been talking about for the past month and a half on the H-Town Rundown, is reconstructing the offense from the offensive line to the wide receivers and other weapons as well. Running back, which they did take a running back.
No more DP.
Tight end, which they did take a tight end. And all those different things. So it just came into fruition. My bad, Jules. What did you say?
I'm trying to get DP out of here, man.
Oh, DP gone.
No, he ain't going nowhere.
I'm trying to get DP out of here. They got some speed on this offense. This draft.
He ain't going nowhere.
Jules, what you say? What's his name?
Huh?
What's his name?
Who?
The player you
The
talking
running
about?
back.
Woody?
No, the player you talking about that you trying to
DP.
He gone.
He ain't going nowhere. Y'all gonna be disappointed.
But definitely. Houston Texans also made some news today by claiming center Jake Andrews from New England Patriots. David Andrews. Is it David or Jake?
Jake.
Okay.
Oh, is it Jake from State Farm?
Yeah, I was like, damn, I thought I read it.
Okay.
Am I wrong? But yeah, Jake
Put it down,
Andrews,
Mike. Put it down.
Jake Andrews from New England, who was a former 4th-round pick in 2023 for the New England Patriots. As well as he played under Cole Popovich in New England as offensive line coach, and has a rapport with Nick Caley as well. So definitely has that tie-in with the Houston Texans. So shouldn't have surprised anybody that they picked up, Andrews on the waiver wire to bolster their line. Currently, they have 17 offensive linemen on their roster right now.
He came from Troy, University of Troy.
University of Troy. But yeah, what are y'all thoughts, real quick, about them picking up Andrews?
Camp body.
Pat?
Camp body.
Nitty?
I don't know nothing about him, so I'm gonna say camp body too. I don't know if he beat not Juice Scruggs or not.
Nah. I don't think that's happening either. Cal?
Hey, Nick Casario have just told everybody, man, I'm gonna fill that offensive line room with everybody. Y'all can't blame this shit on me. I got a bunch of them that I done brought in. If y'all can't make it work what I got here, it ain't on me. But yeah, sound like a camp body.
He trying to get that extension, but he trying to get that new extension.
That extension is probably his, man. He gonna get it.
Just so everybody knows, this is Nick Casario's going into Nick Casario's last year contract.
I thought it was 5th year.
5th year? Is it 5th?
Yeah. Yeah. He had 2
He started
pre-D'Amico,
in
2 with
2020.
D'Amico.
But he also team president too, ain't he?
Oh, okay. No, he's not team president. Is he team president?
He's executive
Executive vice president.
Yeah.
So
That's the head nigga in charge. Y'all
Yeah,
fuck around and
exactly.
don't
He
realize
ain't
he
gonna
the head
do
nigga
it.
in
dudes,
charge.
we're not gonna sit up here and call Nick Casario an N-word. We're not about to
Hey,
do.
he
Why not?
ain't he Italian?
You should say he's the head wigger in charge.
But ain't he Italian? Ain't the tires fit white niggas?
But no.
That's what I was all grew up. They consider white niggas.
No.
Yep.
Mike G, what are your thoughts on Andrews?
It is a camp body, but it's more competition, and
Hashtag keyword.
Huh?
Say hashtag keyword.
So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Did he start? Did he start in New England?
He started one game.
games, yeah. I thought he started more than one.
No, he started one game. He played in 16
Good.
games, but only started one game. At 6'3", 300 pounds, he's a nice sized young man. But I mean, but they drafted and they signed a free agent, and I gotta tell you how much they really believe in this young man to be a good player. If they sign a free agent and they drafted a guy in the 4th round, 3rd round center, tell you how good the guy could be if he was actually a good guy, a good player for him. They put him on waivers for a reason.
Yeah. Auntie Swan.
Competition, and just everybody, to me, I mean, obviously the most obvious people, but he could surprise us. Actually, and part of that reason of waiving him was because he got injured, and obviously you had an opportunity to upgrade, and they did, and it's a new regime, and we all know that when you get a new head coach, they want to bring their guys, they want to fill out the roster with their type of guys. So obviously they didn't want to run it back, or at least Brable didn't want to run it back with him, since he want to bring in his guy. So I understand it. I just won't sit back and say he's strictly a camp body yet, because it ain't like we got the center position solidified. So it could be my starting center. I'm just saying, there's nobody that's locked in at center. So we over here laughing talking about camp body. That could be the dude on the center week 1.
I'm looking at it like this. There are 3 players that I feel are locked in on this offensive line. There is Cam Robinson, there is Titus Howard, and there's Blake Fisher. Those 3 I feel are locked in on offensive line. Everything else is position, camp competition. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
What?
Oh Lord, Ray Love is in the building.
Shout out Ray Love.
Shout out Ray Love. I'm mad your name is Raymond Atwater.
Hey, the FBI still looking for your ass.
He's a Colts fan. He joins in on the spaces. Raymond Atwater. Or Ray Love.
Okay. What? I don't know. I'm looking for some Ray Love or going up and down. Oh.
Shout out Alan.
Oh, okay. Your boy Ray Love not reading it. Okay. From Naptown. Okay.
We know Pastor. You know, Pastor, that avatar looks better than you in real life.
But definitely they made a move. They also brought in some undrafted free agents. Ozzie, the corner from North Carolina, who is a nickel. Again, they got 2 of them. Makes me wonder.
They got 4 nickels on the staff right now.
It makes me wonder.
Don't make me wonder.
Did we sign Jalen Petrie to shoot?
Nope.
That's depth, man. That's depth. We've been having a lot of
that's depth. Petrie is part of your core.
So this is the move, because we're gonna talk about it on the draft picks. Jalen Smith plays nickel.
Uh-huh.
Jalen Reed.
Not exclusively, but yes.
Yes. You brought in Ozzy, who's probably not going to play this year, but he's a nickel.
If he makes team.
Yeah, he'll make the team. He'll be the Ladarius Henderson of the secondary. And he brought in those three. Jimmy Ward plays nickel. Jalen Petrie plays nickel.
Jimmy's a mentor. He's the secondary coach. That's about it.
Jimmy Ward.
Yeah,
and he's gonna be a hell of a coach that's on the field, because I guarantee Jimmy gonna play.
Yeah, he'll get some play, but I don't think he will get the same type of play previously.
I mean, he can't. He's gonna get hurt.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna say one is his thing is we looked at last year. We say that now. We look at all these so-called nickels and whatever, but we saw what happened last year. And
yeah, I mean Jimmy and Jalen.
So when the pads come on, whoever he tackled is going out with him.
Yeah. So
I have no problem.
So look, and whoever Jalen Petrie tackled, he just gonna be going out. So we gotta load up.
Clearly, we keep drafting safeties and corners.
Yeah, so
I got a problem with it based
on last year,
looking at how what our division did. I mean, I have no problem with that.
I'm gonna say this:
we played 4 safeties on the field a lot last year, too much than to my liking.
Because we didn't have the corners.
Exactly. So you bringing in depth at the cornerback position. Now it doesn't hurt that.
I got a problem with it. You get proactive.
Petrie, Jalen Reed, and Jimmy Ward can all play nickel. Not deep nickel, you know what I'm saying? Base nickel, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Underneath.
Yards.
Underneath, exactly right.
You know what I'm saying? Line of scrimmage nickel, like the other guy, Jalen Smith from USC.
Don't cross the gun line, boss nickel.
I'm just saying, man. This is what's going on. So, it's a good thing to have more depth.
Guess what? I can throw everything at you.
I'm gonna say this. The tune has changed on the H-Town Rundown, because we had really an episode dedicated to talking about drafting a corner and a safety, and there was a lot of dissension amongst the co-hosts and hosts, revolving around us taking a corner and a safety. But I'm gonna let that lay where it is. But the tunes have changed, and it sounded playing a good tune. And, I feel like I'm Preacher Boy. In my good thought.
My God.
And I'm feeling good. This little light of mine.
They call me Stacks then. How about that? Call me Stacks. I ain't got time for bullshit.
We're gonna call Cal Smoke.
Well, let's run down the draft picks though, so we can have a quick conversation about every draft pick that we actually did draft this
Speaking of that, let's go ahead and pull the draft list up. Can everybody see the draft list at the top?
I see a broke down stadium next to my beautiful stadium.
All right, we're gonna
both of them gonna be broke down in about 6-7 years.
Can y'all see it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I gotta pull it up.
All right. So let's go ahead. The Texans traded back out of 25, moved down to 34, which was the second pick in the second round. And they ended up taking Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. And then with the second round pick, which they traded up from 58 to 48, trading some of that capital that they got back in that trade back, to trade up and take Ariante Ursery, tackle from Minnesota.
Y'all see a list? I don't see a list.
I do.
Yeah. Maybe it's my iPad. It's not.
I told you, stop going cheap. Stop going over there. In Shortstown Mall, buying them iPads on the little kiosk.
Yeah, it's a brand new iPad from Verizon, sir. So I got my own list. How about that one? I'm on my phone. I'm saying.
You already know the list. And then in the third round, which they traded again, that came from a trade previous. I think it was a Larry Tunsil trade, if I'm not mistaken. That pick, Jalen Noel, wide receiver, Iowa State. So we took two wide receivers, both from the same school. One speed, one possession. Wide receiver, I know there was a lot of angst when we were talking about it live.
Yes, I watched the show.
And then, of course, we took that old good faithful cornerback, Jalen Smith, at pick 97. A lot of folks, went too high on. A lot of people had lower grades on him. But Jalen Smith, I think, he fits the mentality of what D'Amico Ryans wants to do and what he's all about, and that is being a crash out, being a dog. And Jalen Smith has all those attributes. Speaking of dogs, Snoop Dogg was his coach, and he also was on that. I think it was an Amazon show or Netflix show, the Snoop Dogg Netflix show. He was one of the children on his Pee Wee team, and now, you see how time flies, and now he's actually being drafted to the Houston Texans in the 3rd round. Shout out to Jalen Smith and Snoop Dogg. And then in the 4th round, the Houston Texans select Woody Marks, who I think is a great pick.
Yep.
Very, very underrated. Wasn't talked about a lot, but he fits the mold of what they were aiming for. I know a lot of us wanted Travion Henderson, but then you look at him, Jalen. So many damn Jalen's.
About to get a 3rd Jalen.
That's got to be a record. That's got to be a record. But that
5 on one team, yeah.
He definitely change the pace back.
So he's a pass catching back. He's a speed back. He can run in between the tackles as well. I think I forgot where I heard it. I don't know if we said it on the live or if it was on the space or wherever. He has similar attributes to Devin Singletary.
Yep.
And what Devin Singletary was able to do as a pass catcher, running in between the tackles. He has breakaway speed. He doesn't have finishing speed, but he does have breakaway speed. So he can have those long runs of 40, 50, 60 yards. Probably will get caught, but those are in his repertoire. Then in round 6.
Well, hold on. You're not just going to gloss over the fact that we picked up a 1,200-yard rusher in the 4th round.
Tell him something, buddy. Tell him something. Tell him something good. Know what I'm saying? DP, now you 4th round. Now you the fourth back.
Juice, you hype, but I want you to pronounce his government name.
I don't know his government. I just know maybe Woody Mark.
Joe Plavius.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to fuck Jules up. Jules is hype.
I'm not, because I like.
Hey, I got you. It's J. Say JQ. JQ.
Joe Plavius.
If I'm not mistaken, ain't that Quavo's name?
Yeah.
A little bit.
And then, oh Lord, Brandon, why you had to say that? Pause all the way. I'm gonna put it up anyway.
Oh no!
Then we got Jalen Reed.
Jalen Reed, safety.
Out
of Penn State, who I think was high on a lot of people's boards.
They surprised
fell to the 6th round. Then I think a lot of Texan fans were shocked by this pick, but that's what happens when the Texans go best player available. And the Texans go best player available. They take a quarterback, Graham Mertz, from Florida. I think who is a sneaky good pick, especially where you're picking. Bless you, whoever's sneezing. And I think it's a sneaky good pick because you get your backup quarterback for the future. He's basically going to redshirt this year, and then they're going to bring him in. He's going to be a full-time backup next year. So I do think him. And if you look at his game is similar to C.J. Stroud. He has a little athleticism, but he is a pocket passer, and he can deliver the ball down the field. That was a key trait that he had at Wisconsin before he transferred to Florida. And it was, without the injuries, he did, show that at Florida as well. Before and after the injuries at Florida, the 2 years he was at Florida. And one of my personal favorite picks in this draft is Keontae Hamilton, which we drafted 224 in the 7th round. DT out of Rutgers. Key point that I bring up all the time is that he's a former wrestler, which I feel like is a key attribute for him to be successful on the defensive line. I think that he can come in and play on special teams and give you something. He's 6'4", 304. You add 10 pounds in all season, I think he'll be, great as a back-end rotation defensive tackle. Not expecting him to be no superstar or anything like that, but a great depth piece at the defensive tackle, room. I think right now he may push Kurt Hinish out the door. So that's one of my favorite picks in this draft. A sneaky good pick. And then, of course, is it Lackey, Lachey, Nick Lachey, third cousin, once removed. Y'all remember Nick Lachey from 98 Degrees, and the boy bands back in the day. That's his little cousin, from Iowa. And Patton's favorite pick. Patton been calling Luke for like 3 months now. Shout out to Patton, for getting his guy 6'6". Is he 260? Pass catching, tight end. He was injured this past year, but he's coming back, ready to go. So he is the TQ replacement on this roster.
He's what TQ could never be.
The polo champ, water polo champ.
Nah, man, the future of the franchise at that position.
He's what all pro Pharaoh wanted to be.
You know what I'm saying? I'm calling it now, man. Like this I diamond in the dirt, but y'all gonna talk about Higgins real quick, man.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and y'all break down the picks. I'm just calling them off and gave my perspective. It's y'all turn to go ahead and if y'all want to just say who y'all favorite pick was, what do y'all think, who y'all worst pick out of this group of 9 players. I'll start with Patton, and then we'll go Nitty, Cal, and let Mike and Swan. Jules don't have to speak. So
how much time we got? Because I got my boy Skywalker Social Security number. Where you gonna be?
Bro, you got a hot 90 seconds. Let's go.
You got more. Go ahead. You got 90 seconds for Luke, and then you go and give your thoughts on the others.
I'm gonna keep it real simple, man. I've been pounding the table for this guy since I bumped into him, and I found him on accident. I went to watch Owls film to look at Caleb Johnson, the running back, and I just kept seeing this guy catching the ball, getting open. Who the hell is who are they throwing to? Because they don't have no receivers. And Lord and behold, they're just tight end. And as we all know, Iowa is tight end you. And as I'm doing homework on this guy, of course, Iowa has poor quarterback play, which is why they run the ball as much as they run the ball. And he's one of those guys that's going to always be open. Not the fastest, not running past you. He can run your ass open. Willing blocker. You know what I'm saying? He's moving men out the way. It's very simple. Like a lot of people are going to see as time goes by. I look for him to be on the 53-man roster starting week 1. Like, it's going to shock a lot of people. And, of course, as y'all do know, I ain't really care for Higgins like that, but I talked to my brother Steve Smith over the weekend. He gave me a phone call. We had to talk some things out, and I feel like Higgins is going to benefit more so from having CJ as quarterback more than anything. This is one of those fits. If you would have went somewhere else with a decent to poor quarterback play, you're not going to get what he's going to give us. So, also Woody and Ursi is also like my 2 sneaky favorite picks of the draft outside of Skywalker.
You said Ursa and who?
Woody
Marks, yeah.
Yeah.
Jaden Higgins has a 1.4% drop rate, the best in the class, the whole class come out this year.
Yeah, that's what I learned.
So you trying to say he D-hop?
I mean, he's got sure hands. So I'm just trying to say his hands out of all the players come out the draft.
No. I'm totally in agreement with you. That's a shot at Patton because
I know that's why I said it to Patton.
Yeah, when I brought that up to Patton, he was like, "Oh, so you saying he D-hop?" No, I'm just saying
D-hop wasn't that fast either. But I mean, D-hop made quarterbacks look good. This guy's gonna
he never dropped a pass, and they say that's what he was doing for his quarterback in Iowa State.
He had to. That quarterback was trash.
Right. Go ahead, Frank. What you got?
Okay, I'm gonna go first with my favorite pick was Jaden Higgins because I feel like having 2 big quarterbacks on the edge like that makes it difficult, and I see how teams have a problem with Nico. And I was looking at the Houston Texans 2024 highlights last night, as a matter of fact. And I was just imagining, what the new people that we added to the regime, what it would look like. And I was like, man, it was pretty exciting because I was like, if you see what Nico was doing to defenses and to have another player with that kind of catch radius, on the field, like the red zone is gonna be crazy. Like it's we're gonna be very difficult to guard in the red zone.
Mhm.
And I feel like with Ursery is a good pick. You know, I see a lot of people sliding him into the guard position, and you know, that's a lot of people that's on Texans Twitter and stuff like that. They don't really know a lot about the game. That I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but you know, when I brought that up on the show, you know, a lot of people was like, you know, that was, you know, a very small chance that he would actually slide into the guard position, but everybody's putting him there. So according to me, I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that if he could play guard or become one of the guards, but other than that, the list went down, AD.
Yeah, no, I took it down. I'm gonna add it back.
Oh, okay. So, because I kind of wanted to go down the list. Jalen Noel, I feel like is a diamond in the rough pick because he could have went. I mean, even when you look at Jaden Higgins too, they say that both of them were like in the top 50 players on a lot of people's boards. So when you get two top 50 players, not just top 50 wide receivers, but top 50 players. I feel like that's a good thing, and the type of wide receiver he is in the slot like that, he can learn a lot from Christian Kirk. So you have like this compounded problem when trying to guard the Texans, meaning you got to deal with you know, big wide receivers, and you have to deal with the small shifty wide receivers at the same time. The defensive players, meaning Jalen Reed and Jalen Smith, I think are good players for depth. They are strong depth players that can potentially be starters, but not at this time, not with the secondary that we have. But I think they're strong depth pieces. The quarterback, you know, I don't understand that pick at all. I really don't. I'm not even going to try to understand it. The Keontae Hamilton pick is pretty good. And Luke Lancher, like I say, you know what I'm saying, I dude in the building. Hold on, let me see if I can play what's the name right quick.
Draft guard activated.
Yeah, our guy Patton, he had been speaking for the longest, talking about, you know, the fact of Luke and how, you know, he would be good in this system. And me personally, I love our tight ends because the last one that we had was Fedorowicz. And if it wasn't for his concussions and all of that stuff, he would have been a good tight end for us. He was one of my favorite Texans players when he was on the field. But yeah, I really think Luke is gonna come in, and under the fact that we got the offensive coordinator Nick Caley, I expect the tight ends to shine. But other than that, I think we had a solid draft. A lot of people give us A's and B's. I heard a few radio personalities gave us a C and a D, but other than that, I think it was a good draft. I'm excited about what's about to go down.
They gave us C and D's because they wanted 3 or 4 offensive linemen.
At 2:00.
Huh?
You talking about them jackasses on 610 that come on at 2 or 3 p.m.?
Exactly.
What you saying?
Exactly. I don't even listen no more. I just happen to be on Twitter.
I know either, but I just know what time they come on.
I just happened to be on Twitter, and somebody said that they said that, and I was like, "Oh man, that sounds right about them." I'm surprised that the quarterback dude said it. They used to play with the Cowboys. I can't think of his name now, but
Sterner.
Clint.
Yeah, Sterner. Yeah, I'm surprised Sterner said that. But you know, like a lot of people say, they still kind of in fear with CJ. And I just want to say to people that are in fear of the offensive line, just know that there's going to be competition. And if we can get I'm telling you, we can get 20% better than what we had last year, man, we can have success. So it's not like we need to jump and be the number top 10 offensive line next year, man. Like I said it before, we fall in the middle of the pack, we good. We just need to be able to give CJ those 2 seconds, man. That's it. That's it. And we got big boys that can just stand in the way. That's how I see it, man.
Go ahead, Kyle. What you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna run it down real quick, man.
I'm sorry. I want to put this comment up, Cal. I'm so sorry. I want to put this up that
go ahead.
FBI sideline Sarah put up. She found out that, you know, Ursery was a wrestler in high school as well. He joined the rest of the team as a sophomore, 285-pound class. So that is along with my Keontae Hamilton comp that gives me a little more reprieve on Ursery. But go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, to hit on that too. As big as he was, he ran a 5 flat. And if you look at Lyman's and his 10-yard shuffle was pretty good. He's a very athletic big guy, but uh Higgins and Noel was a lot of people had them, as far as two of the top 6, no more than like top 8. If you come out with two of the top 6 wide receivers in the same draft, same school, and I think another thing that played into it is they were familiar with Iowa because of Xavier. And I think that's going to make the transition pretty good for those two youngsters because they come into a bigger city, but they also have somebody that can kind of navigate them and say, hey, this is how H-Town is, but they're going to be learning the playbook together. And so when you have Christian Kirk that has, people saying his Noah comp was the same. And I was watching film on Noah. Hey man, that dude that makes safety's job hard because once he comes out of his cut and he start going at the safety, and I'm looking at him, I'm saying like him and Kirk do the same thing. So they basically have mirror positions on both sides of the field, because Higgins does a lot of things that Nico does. He's not at Nico's level yet, but he has a professor in the building with Andre that can teach him the ins and out of how to be a pro and just how to play at that level. So the Texans is going to have a scary good offense. Running it down, Ursery and AD said he probably won't play this year. You know what? If that's the case, then that means Nick hit it real well with his free agent acquisitions on the O line. So if I got him, and last year we drafted pretty high, for an offensive line pick, that's only just building it for the future. That Jalen Smith was a really good one because I got tired of my safeties being caught up on third down. I mean, slot wide receivers, and they just running up the field. And they couldn't keep up with them. So I think that Jalen gonna get a lot of run. Woody Marks definitely gonna have a lot of play. I mean, guy had 82 catches in 1 year when he was before he got to USC. I forgot the college that he was at. Jalen Smith is one of those ones that it's a project, but only Petrie can secure his job because that's one of those contracts after 2 years, and you just pay Petrie. After 2 years, you can move on from that Petrie contract. And also that CJ Johnson, that's one of the guys that you can move on from him, move on from Ward.
Didn't even mention CJ Gardner Johnson.
But that's just Nick solidifying that secondary room. You're gonna move on from guys that can really play this year, and you can move on from them, and you're not gonna have a big fallout. You won't be desperate going back into the draft having to reach. Graham Mertz, I can see that because Davis Mills as a backup quarterback and getting up in years, you're gonna have to pay him a little bit more. Keontae Hamilton, I like that, but don't need to elaborate on that because AD, you did a great job. And Luke Lachey is one of those guys that probably is going to be the best blocking tight end, but I think that he can have a very good future with us because last year when we drafted was Stover. Stover was ranked the number 2 or 3 tight end coming out. And Lachey was he was ranked the number 12. So you got guys that have talent that's high on other people's board. So now it's just trying to bring them in and let them learn and get the chemistry. But I think that you possibly have 2 guys that's, in the future that you can work with. And I know AD is ready to run my boy up out of town, man. Take away that one play from Cleveland. What do he do? I know he just ready to take him out of here, but hey,
Ain't done
man.
a damn thing. That's the highlight of his life. Ain't done nothing since, before, or after.
But that's my rundown, man. I'm gonna give up the mic, man.
Shout out. That nice play on words, Cal. Get your rundown on the H-Town rundown.
Hey, pun intended. Big pun intended.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Auntie
Swan.
Okay.
She fall asleep? Oh.
So I guess my favorite pick is Higgins. I mean, it's kind of like a Siamese twins thing to me with him and Noel. But since he was our first pick, I'll go ahead and say him. I like big wide receivers. So I love that he mirrors Nico. I love the fact that actually, to me, my opinion, he will be slightly ahead of what Nico was because it took Nico 2 years to actually be what I think Jaden is going to be in his rookie year.
Correct.
I think he's more of a polished route runner. He knows how to use his hands, body control. I mean, so to me, I don't think it's going to take him 2 years. I think we'll see that now. I think he will obviously benefit from Nico because obviously coverage will roll to him first, but after a while, I give about 3-4 weeks. Yeah, that's gonna be single coverage. I don't think it's gonna still be double coverage.
You're right. You cooking. You cooking.
So, but it is what it is. I'm excited to see how you use them interchangeably because he's not just an outside receiver, although he's he also can play. You can move into the slot. You can get him in motion. I mean, it's just different things he can do. So, but I like it. He does have. I mean, he's not a burner, but if I'm not mistaken, he was 4.5, 4.6, something like that. So, pretty much similar to what we had with D Hop, which wasn't fast, but you knew how to get in and out of your breaks and so forth. So I'm gonna look forward to it. And I love the sure hands. Absolutely. All the other picks I love. Tay, I love. Obviously, like I said, Noel, I love. And with him, let's keep in mind, Christian Kirk, like him. However, he's only played 8 games over the last 2 seasons. Therefore, I think I will see him a lot sooner. Jalen Smith, I like the pick. I like that mindset, that swarm, that dog to crash out and pairing him with his teammate. It's another one, because they were. I like the Woody Marks pick. I would have preferred Jaden Blue. I'm just, hook him over here. I'm a little partial. But I'm okay with that pick. Jalen Reed, I'm definitely okay with that pick. Graham Marks, that is the only one I'm going to count here. That was the head scratcher, not the position of. It's only where he was picked that I questioned. It probably could have been another quarterback, but I get it. Mills is on his last year. You bring him in. That way he can sit a year under Kaylee, system to learn it. So when we say deuces to Mills, you're not bringing in a guy who hasn't been in the system for a season. So hopefully we have some blowouts and he'll have opportunity to get on the field and, get some reps. Hamilton, I was screaming, where's my DT at? I needed my DT. Finally got me one. DT. But anyway, so got him. Would have liked to have had him probably at that Mertz pick than at the 224 pick, but I live with that. And then obviously I got tight end and, Luke Lachey. So 8 out of 9, I loved. That the quarterback pick is, like I said, the one that was the head scratcher where he was picked at, but I understood it. As far as starting, I don't want to see Graham Marks ever starting. So if he never starts, that is a good pick. I'm sorry. Because I never want to see him. I would say the first, first 6 guys and the last pick, I do expect to see on the field sometime throughout the season, making contributions. I am anticipating that Tay is actually going to end up playing significant snaps, not because per se someone gets hurt. I actually think the young man is going to work his way into the lineup. And that size is kind of hard to ignore. And depending upon certain teams that we play, I don't know. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to be a red shirt guy. I don't think he's going to be kind of like them, some other guys we'd have had in the past. So, that's for me.
What's up, Mike? What you got, Mike?
What's up? Yeah, I wasn't completely thrilled with one aspect of it that we didn't get, one of my targeted interior offensive linemen, but we did turn a major weakness into a key strength with the receiving core. Noticed a couple other trends. All of our picks played in the Big Ten, except for the 2 guys who were in the state of Iowa, which is Big Ten country. A lot of guys from the same school. We got 2 guys from USC, 2 guys from Iowa State, and obviously all the Jalen's. But all these guys swarm when you watch them, especially Marks, especially Jalen Smith. My favorite pick was Jalen. It's unfortunate you have to ask a follow-up.
Which one?
I'm going to go with Noel, receiver. I love the value there. I had him in a couple mocks, the Texans.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was really good value there in middle of the 3rd round. And obviously, nobody's brought this up, but I think everybody's kind of thinking it. The injuries. This is clearly a trend because we see at least some shades of Nico, or at least when he was in college, with Jaden Higgins. We see, we saw the Christian Kirk comps for Jalen Noel. We see the Petrie game in Jalen Smith. There's a little bit of mixing in Woody Marks. Obviously, Jalen Reed has elements of Jalen Petrie. So clearly, last season, they're like, all right, we're sick of these injuries. If somebody goes down, we're not going to be screwed. So if Nico has to miss a game or 2, if Christian Kirk has to miss a game or 2, because obviously he's had some injuries along the way, we're not going to be screwed. If Jalen Petrie goes down again, and what would the conversation be on this panel if we hadn't already signed Jalen Petrie? My Lord. They'd be like, well, he's gone. Look, we already got Jalen Smith, Jalen Reed. But I'm happy with the flexibility. Yeah, I'm happy with the flexibility that this gives them on defense because if he needs a breather or if he does miss a couple of games, we got some swarmers there who could step up, who, will not be out of place. They've had these types of roles before. Obviously, Jalen Smith didn't kill it on the stat sheet, but you watch his film, he's right there. He's right there blowing up the run game. And that wasn't even like a big aspect of his college role. He just happened to always find himself blowing up running lanes. And he took great angles. I saw one of the guys break it down, like the film, former Texan, break down how good of angles he takes. And, okay, if the running back has phenomenal speed, he'll cut outside, force him inside, boom, linebacker takes him down. Graham Mertz, I mean, I'm not shocked by it. I think they want to look, don't want to have to pay Davis Mills. And even though it wouldn't be a massive contract, you want to be able to get a quarterback in the 6th round on a rookie deal. So, and you do see a little bit of CJ Stroud like similarities. Obviously, he's not on that level, but yeah. So overall, I'm happy with the draft. Would I have loved Jared Wilson or Kyle Williams? Of course, I talked about them endlessly, but
yes, you did.
Yes, I did. But I am very happy with the direction they went, because all these guys, I mean, if Cam Robinson, goes down, I think Ursery could step up and really make an impact. Obviously, Woody Marks, I think, aside from the receivers, I think he'll be the one on the field the soonest. So got a lot of high impact guys. And I don't know if I mentioned already, but Patton, I agree completely on Lachey. I think he's definitely going to make the roster, and he might push Dalton Schultz.
Okay.
What you got, Jules?
Well, since y'all say everything about Texans draft picks and going to be going over said again, I'll make my pick my recap of what I think about the draft as a national draft. I think this draft is the same draft for 2013, where most of the talent will be in the second, third round, which I'm glad that Nick traded down and got some value picks and some solid picks. 2013 draft, first round draft was considered one of the worst drafts of all time. And I kind of figured, me when I was doing my mock drafts, I couldn't locked down on a player for a Texas here and there. It's always kind of shifted. So I stopped trying. So as I felt with this draft that it was more value and solid picks. So as this pick, I think it's just it's a solid draft all the way around. I don't think it may have a future superstars here and there, but I think it's all around a decent draft. I didn't really like the draft at all, as all the prospects were not come out of college wasn't really stars. So it's a good draft. I think the Texans did a good job. I'm trying to get DP out of here, so I like that. I like that pick. I think the big boy from the tackle. I see him differently from everybody else. Everybody sees him as a left tackle. I see him over a right tackle and putting Blake a left tackle going forward. Like AD, I don't want to see him starting anytime soon. More off kickoff, not kickoffs, but special teams and field goals and extra points to get some feet with, and maybe some jumbo package in the end zone for down fourth and goal, stuff like that for power and push, because he is athletic, he is strong. He needs to work on his technique a lot, because like I say, he does lunge and reach, because he's faster and bigger than people that he's going against. So I think is a very good project going forward. And that's my pretty much wrap up on the draft going forward.
Hey, so now it's time for AD to piss people off. AD has two picks that I want to talk about on both opposite ends. You got the pick that a lot of people loved, and you got a pick that a lot of people questioned and said, "What the hell are we doing with this pick?" I'll start with Ariante Ursery. Ariante Ursery, and I'll say it again, he should not see the field at all this year. And it's not because the guy can't play, and it's not because he's not talented. One thing is something that we've had the last 2 years, and I'm going to break it down, is shuffling the offensive line late in the season. How has that resulted in better play for the Houston Texans offensively? It has done the polar opposite. So saying, I don't see, he's not going to start, he's not going to play, but I could see him playing later on in the season, means that you're going to do a line reshuffle towards the end of the season. And now you're sitting up here and you're going to have a rookie, inexperienced, trying to come and play as a starter during the playoff run. To me, that doesn't make much sense. Same thing with Blake Fisher. I didn't like that. And it kind of showed later on in the season. Let us not forget the playoff game. So, those type of situations I tend to avoid. I do believe that Ariante Ursery is our tackle of the future. Him and Blake Fisher, I believe, are going to be our right and left tackle. I do believe that Blake Fisher will potentially be our left tackle because of his build and frame. Him being a little bit smaller, I think he may be a little more able for to bend the corner. We'll see. But I think that Ursery will be a great right tackle because I feel like he's better in the run game than Blake Fisher is at this point. So we will see on the reasoning for. is that I don't believe that you need to make offensive line shuffles throughout the year, especially if everybody's healthy. If Cam Robinson and Blake Fisher are healthy, Ursary shouldn't see the field. You've added enough depth on the interior right now that if Titus gets hurt, you can put Tomlinson there. If whoever is the right guard, you still have Ingram and other guys that you can put in there as well. I don't want to do all these musical chairs with the offensive line. Give me my veterans, my 3 veterans. Well, I won't say Fisher's a veteran, but my two or 3 veterans on that offensive line and the 2 young guys, and let's roll. So that is how I'm kind of preparing my mind for it. But I know it pisses a lot of people off when you say I don't want to see Ursary touch the field, but that is, that's just my take on it. And then the second pick is Graham Mertz. I know a lot of people say you could have got this player, you could have got this, you could have got this position, whatever. At that point in time, if you draft a player, let's say offensive line, a second offensive lineman at that position, I mean, we just brought in 2, and Cox and from was it Kentucky?
Woody Cox?
Yeah, not Woody. Is his name Woody? Yeah, whatever his name is, but I know his last name Cox. And we brought in Andrews.
As Eli well. Cox is his name.
Eli. Okay. Eli, we brought in Eli. I'm gonna stop saying his last name. We brought in Eli and we brought in Andrews. So those right there are your younger depth interior offensive line pieces that you can employ in case somebody gets hurt or whatever. So they've addressed the offensive line. We still have Ladarius Henderson that we keep glossing over, that I feel like at this point in time, he is similar in size to Ursary, and he has been in the building an extra year. I wish that people would stop overlooking Ladarius Henderson and put him in the mix for it. Like, I know when we draft people have an urge to want to see the person on the field, but sometimes it's better to be patient and wait, because sometimes if you open that box a little early, you only get $5 bill. But if you wait that little bit of time, that $5 may actually be 100, 200, 250. So, you may have a better product coming out if you just let the guys sit, learn, and develop. They've exhausted, like Cal said, they've exhausted the cupboard on the offensive line, because I'm keep flipping back, but the offensive line. So I do think that they are more than enough prepared to kind of handle any and every situation and have true competition on that offensive line for those 2 spots. And then we talk about Graham Mertz again. I go back to the quarterback position. I just think that you get you a quarterback of the future, backup quarterback of the future. And I look at it as if how Baltimore does it with Lamar Jackson's backup quarterbacks. Every time Lamar Jackson has a backup quarterback, they kind of similar to Lamar, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. They have similar abilities. They always bring in somebody, even if it was like Robert Griffin III or whoever. They always brought in a running style quarterback who can throw the ball down the field at that position as quarterback that mirrors what your starter is, so you don't have to change your game plan completely. The issue with Davis Mills is that if something happens to CJ where he's out of game, or if we are locking up the number 1 seed and you got to play Davis Mills a game or 2 so you can rest your starters, now you have to change your game plan because Davis Mills is not in a stratosphere play-wise, skill-wise of what CJ Stroud is. So instead of having to fight those battles when you have a Graham Mertz in 2026, if CJ, injuries happen and CJ gets injured, now you step right in and you don't have to, completely change your playbook and your game and your game plan or your scheme to fit him. So that's my 2 cents. Y'all have at it on who y'all,
That's for the preseason photo, AD. Like,
yeah.
I understood the quarterback pick immediately. Like this is you can't keep giving Mills 1 year deals. You know what I'm saying? At some point, he's going to go out there and prove himself to the league, whether he's successful or not. CJ is going to be here for the next 20 years, so we're going to be drafting a quarterback. I want to say every 4 to 5 years, maybe.
Honestly, every
four.
three. Every 3. I would say every 3.
I mean, because who's to say Mertz may develop into a perennial all-star backup quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he has great upside. It wasn't a bad pick. Like people who were upset and mad at it didn't understand. Like I feel like they're not really football people. You got to understand. Like you got to have a backup quarterback that's competent. And as of right now, we got Davis Mills. Yeah, he's won some games, but he's lost a lot of games too. So
don't give him no credit, okay? ADR got big enough head. Don't give him no credit.
No, he's talking about Texas tangents.
Talking draft logic.
Look here. I say this, man. Overall, this was a solid draft. Like I said, I did talk to Steve Smith. He actually reached out to me. Like no bullshit. So I had to talk to the OG, man. You know, it was a long, lengthy conversation. Pause. But
did you talk to him about their recording?
That's why he reached out to me. He was like, I don't understand. You the fucking mailman, and I'm like, hey, bro, let me tell you something. So you know, we exchanged words, but I see what he was talking about, but I still feel the way I feel about it. I do feel like Higgins is going to produce for the simple fact that CJ is his quarterback. Between him and Noel, I like Noel better. Noel is a Kurt clone. I don't see Kurt being here long. So, of course, you know, once Kurt leaves, Noel slides to that spot easily. And, hell, to be honest with y'all, I'm already looking to next year's draft. This was a heavy offensive draft. Next year's going to be straight defense.
Well, I'm kind of glad you brought that up because I did do some research on the too early 226 draft, and they got the Texans an average anywhere from the 18th, 19th, and 22nd pick of next year, and it's guard, one receiver, and I think a tackle.
I've seen center. I've seen center.
That's all I've seen too. But to me, I think that's disrespectful to think we're gonna be drafting that high next year. Go ahead, Mike.
It's based off the Super Bowl betting odds.
Okay.
Yeah. So because even doing the logic that you look at the same betting odds, they all have the Texans running away with the division. So it's like, well, using that logic, you put the Texans in the 20s at least. But
correct.
It's strictly based off that.
I'd rather be in the 20s than the high teens. Like there's some respect that we've earned. Because I mean, in past years, no matter how good we did, they put us back in the top 15.
Yeah, that irritates me.
You know what I'm saying? So that lets me know, even though the league and national media don't really fuck with us, they have taken notice. Okay, we just can put them right there. You know, but this year was solely about getting Nick Caley all his toys, so that way CJ can go out there. There shouldn't be no excuses. Knock on wood. No major injuries. Everybody can get through the whole schedule, plus playoffs, on way to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Injury free. They're gonna seal the damn deal.
So here's a question for everybody. Whose mock draft was the closest to what the Texans actually drafted?
Would you say who? Who is
nobody?
The damn sure wasn't the shit y'all pulled out. What?
Hold on, that was a group consensus.
No, man, it wasn't. It was a majority.
I took my name off that paper.
So
we did draft Luke Lachey though.
Man, look, hey,
we got that right.
I'm a down that hill.
So basically, nobody's mock draft was anywhere close to what the Texans actually did, correct?
Nobody.
I said I got it right on one of my mock drafts that we weren't taking.
What you got right?
What mock draft you got it right?
Hold on, I got it right when I said.
Okay, post it.
I will go and pull the clip that I said. Don't be surprised at the offensive line. I said the clip. I'm talking about my words.
Okay,
what I said. What I said was, don't be surprised. They only take one offensive lineman.
Well, I said that too, though.
So, I said it first.
Ray
J.
I even had a couple with Noel and Higgins, but the rest of it was way off. So,
I like seeing. I'm more of a seer.
Well, we know your draft was wrong every
Oh, which
time.
one? Because I've been
Well,
doing them since February.
Right, and you always
Swan,
pick four O linemen.
Swan, I hate to tell you,
Not
but your
every
boy
time.
Gunner ain't gonna make it over there in Tennessee, man.
Excuse me.
He ain't gonna make it in Tennessee.
Well, I
Gunner?
hope not.
It's Tennessee.
That's okay.
Everybody go to Tennessee. Go to Tennessee, do one thing. Nah,
We cut him. We can bring him over here.
tell you.
So, all right, to next topics is there any veterans on
hold
this
on,
team
hold
from
on,
last year?
Jules.
Go
Hold
ahead.
on, because Cal wanted to make a point. Go ahead, Cal.
No, I was gonna hit on Jules' point. We had you know, the guys, me, Nitty, and Patton that did a show, and I was looking at my notes, and two of the guys that I did highlight, I said I want to go back and watch the show. Just a trivia point, man. You know, as long as AD was the first person to give me an opportunity to do this YouTube live. I think he brought me on twice before Patton and Patton and Nitty reached out to me. But I've never went back and watched the entire show that I've recorded. But
Mhm.
I was looking at my notes and I did highlight Higgins and Noel.
Okay.
And I was like, they could fit. And I said that Jalen Noel would be a double threat because not only he's a good slot receiver, but I also made a notation that he averaged, I think it was 26 yards on a kickoff return,
Hmm.
and that's one of the who's Frank Ross. Frank
Right.
Ross to be pounding the table for him, like, hey, if y'all get him in wide receiver, we can use him in special teams also. So that was one of the things that I said. So, but I don't think I ever mocked him to any one of my drafts. But
I was a Higgins fan because he's 6'4", and I like tall, bigger receivers on my edges. Like I'm old school, like you and Frank were. We like those big outside receivers, and both of them being 6'4" with
Old school
Nico.
traditions.
I mean, it's the red zone because
I'm mad that you had to use big that many times.
I'm a big man, so I use big as many times as I can to make sure I understand the reference of the situation. So, our red zone offense under Bobby for the last 2 years was just horrible, and we rarely threw the ball in the end zone when we had a chance. So that give you a different weapon of somebody who can catch high balls and get it. Don't do that, AD. I know he's gonna go for that situation. High tosses, know what I'm saying, and actually come down the ball and it get situation. You know what I'm saying? You know what? It's been a long day. I ain't worried about y'all. Pause.
Look, I
Hey,
was
I'm still a juvenile at mine, man. I'm
I
a
know.
juvenile.
When I said it, I know I saw. All I saw was 80s fights laid up. Like you about to get me.
No, the point that I wanted to make, that do y'all think that and this for the whole panel, do y'all think that D'Amico allows Kaylee to do what Kaylee wants to do, or do you think D'Amico would want to be a kind of like, because last year D'Amico said we want to be physical and we want to run the ball. We are a run team first.
Mhm.
And the weapons that we have, man, even with the tight ends that we have, even with Woody, man, we can easily go out there on several formations with four wide and just cause so much havoc. Do you think Nico allowed Kaylee to do that, or is it going to be, hey, man, we got to scale it back?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both because I know he said in his press conference earlier that he wants to have more intel and more decision making on the offense because of what happened to Bobby, because that was his first job, that was his homeboy. He let him have it, he had have free run so he wasn't doing, and he didn't have enough knowledge on the offense side of the ball to really put any inputs on it. Only thing he can probably do is what a defensive minded person would say: if you do this play, this is what we're gonna do, and that's how you counteract that situation from a defense guy. But I think he wants to be more involved with the offense. I still think that he's gonna let Nick do most of the heavy lifting, but he's gonna be more mindful of what's going on, so he can actually be a complete head coach going forward too.
Hey, let me steal it real quick. I told everybody that after the draft, I would know. I'll have a better idea of what we're gonna be running, offense wise, scheme wise, and from the looks of it, I got Big E. No, Hershey. I call him Big E. I give everybody a nickname. If y'all don't know that by now. But Big E strength is power gap. I believe we're gonna be running 80-20 power, 80 to power, 20 to zone. You have a back end Joe that can do either or, which is a plus. Woody is not an in between the tackles runner. He's an outside guy, but he's a patient runner though. Kind of reminds me of Le'Veon Bell. Like he's very, very, very slow. Like when as far as letting his lineman set up the blocks and hit the hole. Pause. But I will say this though, I look for us to run a 4 wide receiver set. Like that's going to be the base. Even with our tight ends, like when we run the ball, there'll be double tight ends on the field, maybe 3 in the heavy set. But when we're going to pass, it's going to be obvious as fuck. We're running 4 receivers.
Four receivers.
Mm-hmm. Maybe 3 with a tight end.
Hell yeah.
That's something we have.
You got to take advantage of that.
I think he was being facetious talking about Bobby.
Oh man, Bobby could never. Hell, they don't even have 4 receivers on Madden with Bobby. So, anyways,
he did it before.
Yeah, all right. In practice,
no, seriously, he did because scared the hell of me when he did it.
in practice,
he kind of did. I'm like, what? Huh?
I'm telling you, at practice on run the scout team, that was the closest we got to it. But
no, in the game he did go empty. I ain't lying, he did.
I'm not gonna argue with you. Maybe your eyes see something I didn't see, but I know damn well Bobby don't know what 4 receivers look like. But I can see, Nico, Big Hutch, Kurt, and Noel, your 4 receivers on the field, running that offensive scheme. And like I said, the good thing about it is Woody's the best pass catching running back out of the draft. Like the best pass catching running back. My only 2 knocks on Woody is he will try to pass block, not that good at it. And he's a little old, he's a little longer in tooth. He'll be 25 going into the playoffs next year. So we're gonna get him he's gonna have to be maximized quickly.
The first 2 years, right?
Shit, this year. I'm serious. Like he'll be his birthday is December 20th or 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I don't know, man. Good solid draft. Not a home running hidden draft. I would say above average depth draft.
Mm-hmm.
You got guys that can you actually plug in and play, except one, which is the quarterback. Everybody else, I feel like we will find a niche pretty quick early.
You know, the good part about this draft is minus the wide receivers. Like wide receivers was a must because we lost 2, we gained 2. But even everybody else that we drafted, if they never saw the field this year or were just, minimum as far as rotation, we'll still be cool because our depth is so deep. See, when Nick went in free agency and started getting all these other pieces, he was basically not being held hostage on draft day. And so what you do is it's like, okay, I can make this trade, but if you ask for too much, if he didn't get some of the pieces that he had got in free agency, then he would have made trades that would have made the fan base upset. So they really replaced 2 wide receivers from 2 wide receivers. Dale and Diggs is gone, and they got 2 guys that can make an immediate impact. The rest of everybody that we draft, if they don't see the field, it's still going to be like them being red shirt, but we still going to be a great team because I asked the question and I ask it again. Can we name 5 rosters top to bottom that's better than the Texans?
Yep,
I know Philly got a good roster, and I know Detroit got a good roster. After that, Nick Caserio have built a roster that was the laughing stock. People was calling us the Cleveland Browns of the future. After the Deshaun debacle, like we wasn't gonna be shit for the next 10 years. This dude have actually took shit from ashes and made gold. And we are one of the top 5 rosters, even with the draft picks that we have minus the 2 wide receivers. Adding those 2 wide receivers give us a wide receiver room that we all can look at and be like, damn. Because he went and got Kirk in free agency. He went and got 2 of the top 5 or 6 wide receivers in this year's draft. You got all-star Nico, and and you just build from that. Like, hey, shout out to Nick, man. Nick did his shit, bro.
That's
So
what
you
I'm
So
drop
saying.
it. That's on the
Yeah.
table.
It's just
Yeah, have a
simple.
good night.
All right, Jules.
Good night. If our O line was just average, if we hadn't looked like we did, giving up 63, 64 damn sacks between regular season and playoffs, and had we drafted more O linemen, I think we would be rated higher. I think it's because nationally, locally, and as well as us, we see a lot of the players and how if this works out and if this here and Kaylee Popovich, it's still a wait and see. I mean,
right,
you have the pieces, the scheme, and everything, and you're adding to the wide receiver room, you're adding to the tight end room, the running back room. So you've made improvements, but that O line is still what everyone is the wild card. Every other position we've addressed and we have depth at. But O line is the uncertainty. We got a bunch of bodies, but that's the one thing that's uncertain. And the one thing we saw in the playoffs, and we definitely saw it in the Super Bowl, is your trenches. Your O line and your D line is gonna matter. And then you work your way back. Yeah, we're fine. Linebacker, we're fine. D line, we're fine in the second. Hell, shit, no fly zone. I'm sorry, it is what it is. We're good on that side. It's the O line, and that's the reason why
yeah,
we're not looked at as top 5, top 3. That O line, because CJ needs the protection. He's not JD5, so he can't make the O line better by buying time and scrambling and that type of stuff, which is fine. I mean, probably have a longer career. That's just my opinion, based on that. But if we got the O line, if they could just be middle of the pack, then we are top. To me, we are a true Super Bowl contender,
hmm
Yeah.
and that's one thing. And that's where I need Popovich and Kaylee to get that shit right early. And when I mean by early, they report on the 27th or the 28th of May for the first OTAs for vets and all of them to go out there and throw around a little bit, because rookies will be, I think, the next week. But they'll be doing that. To me, when you get the mini camp in June, which they're only going to do for 2 days, so that ain't really nothing, but you're still doing installation. I'm sorry, I need you to make an assessment very early in training camp if you're seeing what you're seeing. I don't want this what we've done the last few years where you've played around with it, you get in the preseason, and it's not working, and now we're still trying to figure this out. Nope, you got 2 weeks. That first week, that's first time you're going to be really competing, hitting each other, throwing on some pads. And I'm sorry, if everybody's mind ain't right, okay, that next week, when we go out there, because that first week, we're not going to really see anything. That's the next week when we all get a chance to go out there as fans and see the practices. If your ass don't look like you that caught on to the classroom and through all the OT and so forth, guess what? I don't give a damn who's getting paid, what, where you was drafted. Move that shit around. We do not need to be having any doubts who that damn O-line is going into week 1. We need to do like we did last year. We started off hot last year, and that's actually what helped us to secure the division, because we went 3-1. We started off with 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, something like that. So we need to do that again. But this year, schedule going to get a little bit harder. It gets released on the 14th. For those that don't know, May 14th is when the schedule release does drop. However, we still play those same teams again. That's going to give us problems. We're going to play the Chiefs. We're going to play the Bills. And we're going to play the Ravens, which seems to have our number. So when we play them, don't know. So that's my biggest thing is for the O-line. I need that solidified. Everything else, we'd have dealt with. And I trust D'Amico on that side of the ball. You'll make that shit shake. I don't care if they do start off a little slow week 1, week 2. I know that shit gonna be kicking and rolling. It's Kaylee. I need y'all and Papa. I need y'all to be decisive. That's just,
you won't know how good the offensive line is until the pads come on.
Right.
Right. What I'm saying is you can tell based on your walkthroughs and so forth. Who is catching. No. Hold up. No. I need to know if folks are catching onto what you are doing. Because let's face it, some of these, well, technically Tay is the only rookie, but I need to know my second year guys, or third rather, Fisher and Scruggs and Patterson, because as much as people want to throw them away, those are goddamn draft picks. You don't want to do that. You really want those guys to work out. I think that's a pet peeve of mine as Texans fan.
Swan. I think what Patton is saying is walk through with no pads, and you talking to an offensive lineman, played and coached it. Walk through. Hold on. I'm gonna let you land it. Walk through on the offensive line means absolutely nothing. When them pads come on and we go on live action ones against ones, when Hunter and Anderson is out there, that's when you'll know that those are the real. That's the live bullets.
No,
but I'm saying
I'll go with those that have won it all. I'll look at the Chiefs. I'll look at Philly. Their thing is, it doesn't start at camp. It starts OTAs. It's a mindset, and that's the problem we have with our old line. We've never had that mindset. Did you see Will when we kicked off last Monday when he came into the building?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's raining. Okay, it's dreary outside. He is happy as hell to get back in that building. He is excited. Right. What I'm saying is, it starts with the mind. I can't make you into a dog because you put some pads on. That mentality starts.
But what you're saying about the mentality and the mindset, that's not in OTAs. That's who the Texans brought in this offseason period. You look at Lincoln Tomlinson is a eat glass mindset mentality type of guy. You look at Ed Ingram. Ed Ingram is not the greatest, but Ed Ingram is a nasty spit in the dirt and rub it on his face type of dude. Like, that's who they brought in. Mm-hmm. That's who they already know the mentality and the mindset, which is going back to what Patton and Cal was saying. They already know who they have personality wise. Is what you're harping on personality and mindset there, and what we're saying is that they already brought those guys in, so they already know what mindset they have. You don't know what they can contribute on the field until they put the pads on, and that's the point that we're trying to make. Is like, yeah, you can say because this goes when that point you're trying to make, someone goes into if you don't know who the hell you bringing in. And if you bringing in a whole bunch of young guys that you haven't seen play and all that type of stuff, you got a lot of rookies because the Eagles have drafted a hell of a lot of rookies. So they don't know what the mindset of those guys are. They can talk to them in interviews and all that, but they have to see that on the field. That applies to them. We have one rookie. That we're bringing in. Everybody else, they've already evaluated and already have said these guys have the mindset that we want. That's the reason why they're here. That's the reason why they didn't go crazy in the draft with drafting offensive linemen, because they know the mentality that they want to set. We're going to set it with guys that we know have this mentality already. These guys going to bully you. These guys going to not give up. These guys are not on that bullshit. So again, I think that a lot of times as a fan base and in multiple fan bases, a lot of people look for names and don't look for what you have internally. Ladarius Henderson, if you go back and watch his tape at Arizona State and Michigan, he's another nasty, down, I'm going to put you in the dirt and piss on your head type of lineman. Like, that's what they want. And that's what they getting. And if you look in that room, that's who they have. Even Zach Thomas, the white offensive lineman from the Patriots, he ain't worth a damn, but he gonna give his heart out. And if he get a hold to your ass, a halt. You know how the old folks, a halt to your ass. He gonna drive you and he gonna put you in the dirt too. So it's the mentality. They are very, very strategic. D'Amico Ryan said it in the pre-season, the end of the season interviews.
Yeah,
he want a mindset to match the defensive line mindset. And every move they've made on that offensive line, just because it ain't big names, they've brought in guys who fit that mindset that matches what the mindset is on the defensive side of the football. And that's all you can ask for. And I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again. The offensive line, if they play as a unit, they're going to play well. I'm not saying that you're going to have an all-pro offensive line, but you're going to have a line that's well enough that can protect CJ and can get you effective yards running the football, be an effective run game, have an effective run game. All of those come with that mentality, and you as an offensive line playing as a unit. I say it again, last year's offensive line played like 5 individuals, and I will keep saying that. They play like 5 individuals. That's the reason why it looked like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, point blank, period. As great as Laremy Tunsil was an I-me guy. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm doing, me, myself, and I'm doing my job. Everybody else, y'all gotta do what y'all gotta do, but I can only do what I want to do. There was no camaraderie in that offensive line. The communication was off. We've heard plenty, after exit interviews talking about one side of the offensive line going on one call, the other side of the offensive line doing something else. It was just too much confusion, not playing as a unit. That is the biggest key. Playing as a unit and having the same mentality. If everybody's playing as a unit and having the same mentality, you're going to be a successful team. And again, I'm going to say this last time, and I'm going to get off the mic in my soapbox. It does not matter what the name is on the back of the jersey. It does not matter, because there's a lot of teams, a lot of times people draft these players high and they end up being busts. We see offensive linemen get drafted in the first round every damn year, and the motherfuckers flame out in 2 or 3 years. So just because you're highly regarded in the draft, or you were an all-pro 10 years ago, Shaq Mason, I don't give a damn. I need somebody that's going to do the same thing. Like Cal and Patton, y'all should know, back in, when you teach an offensive lineman in Little League, what you have them do? You have them spread that arm out, lock hands, and all that stuff. It's about a togetherness on that offensive line. So I'm off
I call it synchronized swimming.
Synchronized
swimming. You got to be on time, man. Line dancing, fraternities doing, stumping.
Bro,
You know what I'm saying? You got to be together.
Let me tell you, the line got to be so in sync with one another that if somebody fought, everybody else gonna know who the hell fought it.
That's what I'm saying. To me, I guess my thing is that to me starts, and that's what I was trying to say was that to me that starts now before we even get to the whole thing of training camp. Physically, we get to see if you're in sync when you go to dance. It's kind of like a recital. So if you ever been to one or seen one, it's like that's the finished product that we get to see how all that practice went to me. But there's also a preparation that you do beforehand, because you're in there individually talking and practicing. Your teacher's giving you, or your instructor, whatever, has given you the assignment per se. I'm saying between last Monday, and when we go to camp, there should be a brotherhood that is being developed, is what I'm saying. So maybe I should have said it better. Should be getting developed, because waiting until July to try to form that isn't going to work. I need you all spending time together now.
Yeah, I was gonna hit on
that's
that.
what I'm saying. Aside. Like I said, I may have said correctly, and I do apologize. Make that clear. I understand the pads part. Trust me. I am saying is that team building, that getting in sync, that starts now.
And I can see your point, because
we said in July, to me, it should be like, damn, what y'all been doing all off season is starting to come, y'all starting to put this together. Okay, hey, we're actually put the pads on and we're doing this. Oh, you remember we talked about da. Oh, okay. Y'all should be able to self-correct yourselves. Popovich should be able to correct some things here and there, but the work didn't start in July 20, whatever date they're gonna meet up for training camp.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say it starts now. Yeah, I mean, you'll see it in the pads, but no, you'll see that chemistry, I guess you could say it's kind of like what wide receivers and quarterbacks work out in the off season. Chemistry.
Right. I get what you're saying. Like somebody, when what you're saying is, and I kind of get where you was going. I was going on the cohesion on the field, but you're saying is, and the reason why it can happen very, very soon is because Kaylee and Pop is they're going to come in the room. They're going to identify who's going to be that captain from that offensive line room. Now, what that captain has to do is, whether it's Cam Robinson, whoever it may be, it can be 2 or 3 guys. And like you said, Swan, on day one, even before they even call, like if I'm Cam Robinson, everybody that's the offensive lineman that's on my team, I've already called them. I've already set up something for us to sit down and just talk. And so, like you said, when voluntary come and we meet in the building, when practice is over with, we still have to be on one accord outside of the building.
Right.
And so we gotta all walk together. Like, hey, Popovich is not gonna hold our hand. Like, when we're in the building, we're gonna do what we gotta do. But this is what I'm gonna do as Cam. Hey man, y'all come over to my house. And this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna work out together. We're gonna do, just the basic stuff. And so once you develop,
let me go look at some tape of what CJ, because some of them weren't here last year.
Right.
You know what? We need to understand what CJ's cadence is. Because let's face it, let's be honest, there was some illegal procedures that were offsides. So let's break down some tape, okay? Where stunts, twist. I don't need to wait till July. I'm just gonna throw the date out, 27th, because that just makes it easy for me. I'm not waiting till July 27th to learn that. Yeah, the pads is where we're gonna see it, but for me, last week until when they meet up in July 27th, I'm saying everything in between that. This guy got hit. He got sacked, not hit. He got sacked 63 times. That shit ain't happen on our watch. So I need to know, how does his cadence? How does he roll out? Okay. How does he slide the protection? I want you all to think y'all know every single thing that CJ does. Okay. I need y'all to know if y'all know when CJ finna take a fort. Okay. That's my thinking.
Take a fort.
And yes, I was gonna say
what's wrong with you and Patton tonight?
I didn't want it to mess up anything, so I
said fort. Patton said that about 20 minutes ago. Like, what we on forts, man?
But yeah,
you
know you can shoot, right?
That's how I
didn't know if that would hurt us if I say certain words. So
I've been cussing all day.
Okay.
If we ain't in sync like that, then what the hell?
I just want to know, everything that CJ. I'm sorry. The moment he calls out, when you get, when y'all even in the huddle, you don't even have to think about it. I already know what he's gonna call. I know it. And if I need to go talk to him, and that's what I'm saying is, I need true leadership. I'm not concerned about the skill set. I think the guys that we grab, unless somebody gets hurt, I think you grab some guys that are going to be good to serviceable. But I just need y'all on one accord, and I don't think it starts in July when they put the pads on. I think it starts now because I feel like that's what the defense has done, but the offense hasn't.
Yeah.
And because you got two new rookies, there's still going to be a transition for them. As much as I love them and so forth, there's going to be still some growing pains. But that old line, I got enough veterans on there. So that's just my thing. Huh?
I thought Nitty was saying something.
No, listen.
No, I just want to counter that. You know, for those people that said Laremy Tunsil was an excellent leader, and that Laremy Tunsil was,
he's an excellent friend.
Hold on. Let me get this out.
Excellent co-star.
For those that Laremy Tunsil was a excellent, behind the scenes leader. He wasn't a rah-rah guy in the media, but behind the scenes, he did everything and all of that. So from what we've heard, for those people that defend Laremy Tunsil on that leadership, he was doing everything that you were saying, Swan. He was taking them out to dinner, bringing them to his house, taking them to his club, doing all these things to create camaraderie and to be a unit and talk about things. And you still got what the hell you got out there on Sunday.
Okay, so you just told me right there. So no. So what you're telling me is Big Brother took Little Brother out, had him come over. We play some, little PlayStation 5, whatever. We
say he did all of that. He went over to Cadence and everything.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm just saying is you did Little Brother, Big Uncle, kind of shit. I'm not saying that's what I said is. I think Laremy is a nice person. I think Laremy probably was a locker room guy and all the guys loved him. I'm not questioning that. That is not the same thing to me as saying, say guys, you know what? I'll give an example. I will use the Vikings game because that was the worst game of the year from an O-line standpoint. After that game, things should have changed. As opposed to you continued the trend and you was part of the trend. So I don't know what you was saying when everybody was hanging at your house other than, hey guys, this is unacceptable. We gotta, we gotta get this right. Well, I'm sorry. Did you say what specifically? Did you call names? Say, you know what? I gotta stop jumping off sides. I can't be talking about what is communication. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Blah 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 blah. Did you sit down and get into it with your goddamn O-line coach? I ain't hear no rumors that Larry Tunsil got into it with nobody on the coaching staff to say, you know what, Sloyd, this shit don't work. There's some bullshit here. We can't do this. Dude, I done made 3-4 Pro Bowls. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm telling you, this ain't working for us. So if you got an inexperienced coach as a captain, where were you to protect your quarterback? You saw your quarterback was out there struggling. And then the worst part is, I'll put it like this. This is a pet peeve. I think the guys that we have right now, okay, minus Titus, because he's still part of the old regime. I don't think the guys that we brought in, I don't think Tay that we drafted is going to let CJ get hit or he on the sideline and motherfuckers bum rushing him. Okay? I think somebody gonna get kicked out the game because somebody gonna okay. I saw too much of you. Why is he by himself on the sideline? Why is he picking himself up? Why aren't you mad that somebody hit your quarterback? I think we got those kind of guys that won't allow that to happen. I just need all 5 of them to be in sync. I'm just frustrated. I need to know what a stunt and a twist is. But based on Tay, my understanding is Tay know what that looks like. So at least I drafted somebody who knows what one looks like.
Yeah, but other than that, man, I know we harped on offensive line a lot, but I do want to go ahead and close it out. I want to get Pat and Nitty and Cal's final thoughts on the draft and what we looking like for the next couple of weeks. As far as the Texans coming in for the mini camps and stuff like that.
I think as far as what we seen from the draft, I know beforehand we were talking about, seeing because of the draft what type of offense that we may be having to shape up. And I think it kind of painted a picture a little bit. And I like it. I like what we built as far as depth. Um, I like. I mean, when I think of the depth that we built on the defense, I think about Detroit and how they would have players that went down. They had the injury bug like none other last year, and every time they had a player to go down in the secondary, they had another dog to come in that
Right.
could
Yeah.
start, and you were like, damn, like they had a lot of wealth on in their depth department, and I think
Yeah.
that's what we building. So I think Nick is doing a good job in that department, and yeah, I'm cool with the draft and how everything went.
Mm-hmm. Ben, yeah.
Sure.
I love the way like when Patton was saying that, after the draft we'll see how we think how the offense will go. And just off of just imagination of Higgins and Noel, both of those guys, man. And I'm gonna keep harping on this, man. Um, by Hutchinson, I'm hoping that he makes the team because Hutchinson had a lot of like his coming out of college. The skill set was there, everything was there, man. But now he's been able to tutor two of his younger brothers, and now all three of them going to be in the building, man. I think that's going to be like,
Who you say
uh,
tutoring?
Are you saying he's tutoring him?
No, no. Who's the person you saying was tutoring?
Hutch.
He gone.
Tutoring who?
Look. I spent 2 years in the NFL, and I got two rookies coming in.
Yeah,
So
but you
basically,
ain't
what I'm
okay.
no,
But you
but see,
haven't even
but Swan.
solidified yourself. How you
But
gonna
here's the
tutor
thing, though,
somebody?
Swan. Bobby Slowick have fucked up everything and all the visions that we may have about every wide receiver that's in that room.
And I
So
and I,
right
I, I
now,
can agree. I can agree with
and
that, but that's
and
not who
I
I
don't
want tutoring.
right, but no. See, here's the
So
thing about like some of
I
your
got
best
yeah,
coaches,
yeah. I got you. I
some
got
of you,
you. Go
some of
ahead.
your best
I gotta
coaches are
trust
not.
people a little bit more.
No, but Swan, you think that on the field actions equals off the field like knowledge. I can be a guy that have a lot of knowledge. Like most of your head coaches wasn't great players. So all
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying is the familiarity from coming from Iowa to H Town, that
Okay.
transition is going to be huge. And then you got two guys that was on the same team that play with a quarterback that we don't even know, and they both got 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
I'm super excited about that because
yeah,
you got a veteran in Kirk and you got Nico Collins. Like that offensive room can be so explosive. That's the biggest thing that I'm gonna take from this draft. That I hope D'Amico Ryans allow Kaylee to do Kaylee shit
yeah.
because I could see us being a 30 to 33 point a game team, and if we do that, it's Super Bowl.
Right. And to Kel's point, when he's talking about mentoring or tutoring or anything like that, Xavier Hutchinson has been around the NFL playbook.
Right.
Jalen Noel, and Jaden Higgins have not experienced what an NFL playbook is like. Again, the routine of what to do in training camp. Higgins has been in 2 training camps now. I'm sorry, Hutchinson has been in 2 training camps now, and so he knows the ropes of how to gear or how to attack you know, the training camps and the off season as far as like meetings and everything, like where to show up, when to show up. Those little small details play a major role. I think when people hear Cal say, "Oh, he's mentoring or tutoring them," they automatically think that, "Oh, he's trying to go out there and teach them routes and this and that." And that's not the point that Cal was making. I think that the wide receivers coach, that's his job. Like I'm not relying on Hutchinson or Nico Collins or anybody that's in that wide receiver room to go and coach Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. on how to run routes or where to run routes. That's a Nick Caley and what's his name? The wide receiver coach's name. That's their job. That's not
Right.
the player's name, but any of the players' job. But I think that it is important that you have those guys that come from same familiar areas that relate to what you've been through, played in the same stadiums that you played in college, been around some of the same coaches that you've been around in college, know how they operate, and they're going to help you transition to the NFL. I think that's the important part, is just transitioning to the NFL more than
Right.
teach them the NFL.
A quick point. If I was at Prairie View for 2 years and I just know the ins and out, and Swan and AD, that was y'all first year on the campus, I'm gonna grab y'all by the hand and say, hey man, this is where you go to do this is how we do that. That's gonna make your transition so much easier, and it's gonna relieve a lot of stress. So that's what I'm talking about. I've been here. I know the building, the city. This is what this is what all the players go and hang out at. Hey, ride with me. Hey, I want both of y'all in the same hotel, or y'all probably can move in with me. It's just going to make the transition so much easier because I got a big brother that's in the same organization that both of us is coming out and played ball together. That's going to be huge on their mentals. Like, they're not a lot of thinking shit that they're going to have to deal with away from the building on Kirby is going to be alleviated by Hutchinson. Now, Hutchinson may not make the team,
and
but
I think
he's
that's
going to.
why I have a slight pushback, and that's the only reason. Under normal circumstances, I would agree with you. If it was like what Bullock has, and that he's going to have with Jalen, it's perfect because you are on the team. You're solidified. I mean, so it really is. I can take you and show you around. Whereas I'm just a little concerned. It's just me that you have a situation where you drafted two of my brothers from the same team. Okay, I can do the numbers. Somebody ain't making this team. Me, Mechie, maybe both. It's a possibility. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that this is only going into his second season, right?
Third.
How many wide
Okay, so
receivers
draft
are we
with
saying on
CJ.
camera?
Okay, you're going into
We're gonna carry 6, possibly 7. Hutchinson
right.
is going to make this team.
But
Hutch
that's
should be number
100.
one.
so hold on. Let me break this down.
100%. Hutchinson's
this.
gonna make this team.
Why
100%.
I agree, and this is
okay,
the
why would
6th.
you draft two of his guys if you know automatically
But this
he's
is the
making a
6th.
team?
So this is the thing. Hutchinson is a great special teams player. So, and Frank Ross loves Xavier Hutchinson. So if Xavier Hutchinson makes this roster on anything, it's because he's a good special teams player, which is what you want your wide receiver 5 and wide receiver 6 to do and be. So my thing is, you got Nico Christian Kirk. You drafted Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. That's 4. And if you add Mitch and Hutchinson, that's 6.
Right.
You telling me you're going to keep...
Right. That's if the other...
You think you're going to keep Braxton Berrios?
And here's my thing is...
Justin Watson?
Mitch not making this team.
I think it'd be a battle between Justin Watson and Berrios.
My preference would be for Mechie and Hutch to make it on the team simply because giving them an opportunity under Kaylee's offense. I'm sorry. Mechie, the dude did not forget how to run routes. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. He didn't lose his hands. Okay. I understand body-wise. Okay. The year before. Okay, fine. Last year, he was much healthier. And there was inconsistencies at times. Same thing with Hutch. But we are putting a lot of that on Slowick. So I would love for them to truly get opportunity this year. But I don't know what Berrios does in the training camp and what he does in preseason. I don't know. Justin Watson can't just stay healthy. It's not a talent thing. It's the dude can't stay healthy. And because he can't stay healthy, he's inconsistent. So
right.
I don't know. In my mind, I would love for them to say, those are nice camp bodies. And these are the 6 guys we're going in with. But I'm just anticipating maybe one of those guys does not make the team. And it just makes me wonder, you took 2 guys from the same university and where you drafted them at. He was taken in the 6th round. They're taken in the first and third. So I'm sorry, 2nd and 3rd. second and fourth, third. Yeah.
Second and third. Yep.
Yeah, second and third. So let's just be honest. They gonna make the team. So whereas, and I'm looking at how if I go with the Chargers game, I have to say, Xavier, hey, you came up big when we needed you to. When I get to the Kansas City game, y'all disappointed me, which means kind of why you went the way you went. How you drafted. You didn't draft an old lineman first with that second pick. You drafted a wide receiver. Because to me, that was your biggest need, your biggest concern.
Okay. Yes and no. I mean, it also hinges on the BPA and the value at each position.
They went with their biggest need. So if you don't agree with that, I understand that. They went with their biggest need. You went with the wide receiver because you went with a lineman and you turned back around and you double dipped and went and got another wide receiver from the same school.
So what if Jaden Higgins was the best? First of all,
can I have my moment? Can you just let me have that, please? That's just my opinion.
I understand that, but I'm just asking a question to the group because Mike brought up BPA. And your point is your point, but my counter to the question of the group is that what if Jaden Higgins was the best player available on everybody's board? Because a lot of teams, if you notice, traded out right after us. Tennessee and other teams traded out because they had Jaden Higgins as the best player available, period.
Everybody wanted him.
And so everybody wanted him. So can that be the case that he just was – in honesty, he was just the best player available on 32 out of 32 teams.
Hey, also, this draft was best player available at every pick.
Yeah.
More so versus need, or
So
it was all from top to bottom. Even with my guy being the 7th-round pick, and I told y'all he was going to be a late round 7th-round pick anyway, and he was the best player available at that time.
Right. That's what I told you. Like, we lost 2 wide receivers last year. We had to get 2 back, and we didn't go get them in. We didn't go get them in free agency. We didn't pay Diggs the money that he robbed us of, and we didn't get no other high-rated, high-name wide receiver like AB said. With the name on the back. We didn't go get none of that. So we had to come in and get 2 wide receivers. So that was best player available, but that was best player available for need. Every other pick, just like I said, I'm agreeing with y'all. Every other pick, if they never saw the field this year, that's cool because it was a best player available. Right. We didn't need none of these other players that we drafted.
So, Kel, I'm gonna go back to you as well. I mean, you technically
we didn't change the pace running back.
But you could have got that with whoever is left in free agency as well, because there's some guys that they brought in that are change of pace backs. Travion Williams and the other guy from Cincinnati that are change of pace backs that they brought in for visits. But it's just the point to, like Cal was saying, you need 2 receivers, but also nobody expected Jalen Noel to be there at 79.
Right, exactly.
Jalen Noel was consensus a top 50 pick in the NFL draft.
Yes,
you at 79. Right. Jalen Noel is the best player available at 79.
Yeah.
So it just so happens that it fell into, we needed this. But at the end of the day, the mindset was always, because you can't tell me that they pick for need 1 pick and they pick best player available the next pick, or they whatever. Like, the mindset is the same throughout the draft. They pick best player available. Like Patton said, every pick was best player available. And regardless of how Ursary was regarded as could have been a 1st-round pick. Now you picking at 48 and he's there. You trade up. Hey, this guy wasn't supposed to be here. I'm gonna go get him because I consider him the best player available at 48. And and I feel like that's the way they approached it, because I don't see in a world where you can switch your mindset pick by pick. I'm a pick for need over here in the first 3 picks, and then I'm gonna just pick whatever the fuck else the rest of the draft. I don't think Nick Caserio has that type of mindset where he goes in saying I'm a pick for need and then just pick whatever the hell else I want to pick after that. I just don't see it. That's the reason why I counter it. But
we also signed the running back today too.
We signed him, or we brought him in for a visit.
We signed a running back, Chris Evans.
We signed him
from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I thought we had just brought him in
for the camp body. Well, he was invited to camp.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those who don't know, he's a Go Blue native.
Mm-hmm.
So off the rip, what he's gonna bring, he's a smaller Pierce, runs hard. His biggest thing is he can't stay healthy, but when healthy, he produces. Now, granted, Cincinnati has had a very horrible offensive line, and you wouldn't know that with Joe Mixon because he just can make it work. But
Hey, D, that's a good question. I know we got to wrap it up. It was a question that was just brought up by
talking about Brandon.
Brandon, yeah. Is Kirk, Higgins, and Noel better than Diggs, Dale, and Woods?
I would say talent-wise, probably not. Not probably. They're not as talented as Diggs and Dale. Woods will be the
age.
Woods subtracts from the talent of Diggs and Dale. Like he's not addition, he's subtraction.
I think you got younger, and there's more upside with those the three, with Kirk, Higgins, and Noel. But I think right now I got to see it on the field. Woods is the only one I will say yes, only based on age, and you saw age with Woods this past season. Although mindset and hustle and all that, you saw that, but you could still saw the decline. But I gotta
I think Kirk
with Diggs. I'm sorry, Diggs lost a step, but what you could not fuck with, I'm just gonna say, was the dude's route running was still there. So I gotta see that from Higgins. Kurt, yes, but he gotta stay on the field. Up until last year, when that's why it was fluky and disappointing, Diggs was healthy his career. So Christian Kirk can't stay on the field last 2 years. So health is a problem. But they have a potential to be better. They have a potential to be better.
I know we love some Tank Dell, but I think Noel have the potential to be better than Tank Dell.
Yep, I was gonna say
that's why I said potential. That's why I said
right.
Potentially better.
And Robert Woods and Christian Kirk is not even in the same sentence.
Yeah.
They're not even remotely close. Diggs is better. Diggs is better experience wise over Higgins, but Higgins have speed, catch radius ability, and he's just a bigger target. But no, he's not better than Diggs, but he could be better than Diggs was for us last year. So if I had to pick a three, of course I know Woods is a lot older, but I'm picking the Kirk, Higgins, and Noel. And like you say, it's potentially on the upside of what you can get out of Noel, because Noel can definitely be a damn beast in that slot. I'm telling you, he's going to be one of the best slot receivers real soon.
Right, but like when Tank came in, I mean, and that was technically a Bobby thing of not using him the first couple of games, and then he got hurt. But it took only game 3. Jags, when they blew him out, that was when we took off, where you saw Tank. So to me, if Noel can come in and you're telling me week 3 he's doing what Tank was doing, yes. But Tank made that rookie year, Tank made some clutch ass goddamn catches, route running. I mean, it's just that it was sick. So
yeah, Tank was on his way to 1,000 yards. He was definitely on his way to 1,000 yards. Yeah.
So my thing is that are those guys gonna come in and that? I mean, I'm gonna say me. I can't speak for nobody else. For me, am I coming in with expectation that I need you all to produce within the first 3 weeks? By week 3, yes. If you're on the field, yes, because that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Because I don't have room to wait for you to catch up. Because we can talk about how great our draft is. The reality is the rest of our division, much as we hate them, especially on fucking bitch ass Titans, they all had. I'm not lying. They all had a damn good draft, and more importantly, them right ass Titans had a damn good draft. Because you look at their roster and how what they drafted, they're there. So we can't. We can sit back and say, okay, we're not playing Will Levis, even though he beat us one. We're not playing them with Will Levis. We're playing them with a goddamn running quarterback. And what is D'Amico Ryan?
I don't see. I'm looking at their draft. Maybe because you got a late round wide receiver and Amor, whatever he say his name from Stanford.
Yeah, I mean he's
he's
a project though.
Yeah, like
I'm not even talking about that. I'm not going late round. I'm just saying.
I'm looking at their draft like you reached on a DN.
Who they reach on?
Oladejo. He's not like he's not him. He was a reach at 52. Winston Jr. I feel like Jalen Reed was the better safety for Penn State than Winston Jr. DK is probably a decent pick. He's athletic as hell in the 4th round. Gunningham, okay, yeah, but nothing that Tennessee did in the draft. Like Tennessee is gonna be picking top 5, top 10 next year again.
Like it was solid, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't nothing that just blew your mind. Like Jacksonville did some dumb shit too. So like, Ward brought in his Miami guy.
I'm sorry, I like Dyke as a wide receiver.
DK.
I like him.
That'll get us booted. DK. That'll get us.
That's another. Okay, but the dude is fast. Okay, that 4.3 speed. I don't give a damn. We watched Lad McConkey do that shit to us. I'm sorry. We watched last year when we had problems, huh? Lad McConkey when we get
not Lad McConkey. Who was the person with the 4.3 speed?
Goddamn it, Dyke.
DK.
Okay, you can say DK, whatever the fuck you want. His name is Dyke. Goddamn it.
No, it's not Dyke. Stop saying that word.
It's Dyke, goddamn it. No, you call it DK all you want. It's DIKE, it's Dyke, goddamn. Don't give a damn how y'all want to say that shit.
Just look at Metcalf, it's DK. That's how he pronounced it.
Whatever. Damn. Garner, obviously, which would be
I almost said something, but
I'm not gonna say goddamn thoughts.
Mike, I was about to say something too. I would have taken left.
I thought Elite, whatever the fuck, since
Thank you.
correct me. I really liked him because I had him on my draft board. And the guard they got, he was one of mine that I had, Jackson from Sacramento State. I was high on him. So, and then, obviously, I think they got a running back. The kid from Michigan. And then, to me, their undrafted free agents is what became more interesting because they got Xavier from Miami. I always mess up his name. I'm going to call him Reposado because that makes me think of tequila. But
go ahead and put out the stream.
But I'm just saying this. I think the home they just have a quarterback, so they up there. But
shout out to StreamYard giving a $10 discount.
Hey, but I don't think we still win the division. It may not be as easy as last year where everybody start off 0-4, 1-5, and all this shit. So I just need I just need to come out the gate hot, and I need our wide receivers. I need everybody who we drafting on offense. He got his boy. That's what I'm saying is, Rodney. My thing is, it's one thing when especially a rookie, you get your your wide receiver that will help you. So I don't want to take it for granted that hold on, did he say what to Tennessee Titans wide receiver core is what?
That being said, this sounds like a good place.
If we reach that time.
Yeah, this is a good place to go ahead and
yeah.
What Hey, what's the name of the Astros stadium?
Cal. Man, look here. Everybody was
I'll
nice
leave it alone.
out here.
Is it Dyken?
Love
Hey,
everybody.
bro.
Y'all be safe getting in the bed tonight.
Dakin.
We could have
Dakin.
the juice box.
It's the ice box.
Now
Dakin.
we gotta talk the cream box.
All right, y'all know what time it is. Hey,
Oh,
appreciate
my God.
everybody joining in on the live. Shout out Texas on 3, Nitty Patton, Millman, and Killer Cal as well. For blessing us, with their presence on this, draft review.
How many people came in, man?
Right at
Brandon,
200.
are you okay?
Right at 200. So
That's good. Shout out to the 200.
When you turn up.
Shout out to everybody joining. Shout out my co-host Mike G, Jules, Auntie Swan. We appreciate everybody in the comments for joining, and y'all call it the bull ring. The bull ring, as well as the comments for the H-Time Run. Now we appreciate y'all all for joining us and giving y'all opinions and y'all thoughts. Again, Houston Texans had a great draft, and we will see what in turn happens with rookie minicamp coming up, as well as the OTA starting right around the corner. So the Houston Texans have big things in store for 2025, 2026. So again, shout out to everybody, and we'll see y'all when we see y'all, man. Peace.
All right, we out here.
Peace. Brandon, you need therapy.